We've been told that vitamins are the answer, that popping a supplement or two each day is the shield that will protect us from aging, weakness and decline. But there's a problem, a big one, because not everything labeled healthy works the same in every body, and not every vitamin strengthens you. In fact, some are quietly stealing your strength day by day, especially from your legs. You stand up and your knees ache. You climb stairs and your thighs burn with exhaustion. You walk for 10 minutes and feel like you've run a marathon. That kind of weakness doesn't just come from age. It comes from misdirection, from thinking you're helping your body when in fact you're unknowingly slowing it down. There are 3 vitamins marketed everywhere as essential that in reality, when taken in the wrong amounts, at the wrong time, or by the wrong body, can disrupt your nervous system, blunt your muscle response, and even thin your bones. These aren't rare or exotic supplements. They're common, trusted, hidden in multivitamins, fortified foods, and morning routines. And they're sabotaging your legs. The first damages your ability to produce cellular energy, ATP, especially in the muscle fibers responsible for balance, coordination, and fast response. That's why so many people start to feel heavy in the legs, not because they're lazy and not because they're weak, but because the biological spark that used to fire those muscles has gone dim. The second disrupts the delicate dance between calcium, magnesium, and vitamin D, the very trio responsible for bone strength and contraction of your leg muscles. When one gets too high, it throws the others out of sync. Your muscles misfire. You feel twitchy, unstable, and fatigued. The irony, this vitamin is marketed as a savior for bones, and yet in excess, it contributes to the very instability it's supposed to prevent. And the third, it interferes with blood flow, quietly, over time, and when your legs don't receive rich, oxygenated blood, they become stiff, numb, weak, the kind of weakness that doesn't show up in your arms or back, just your legs, because they're the farthest from the heart and the first to suffer from subtle circulatory damage. And we don't see it coming, because these vitamins are sold as essentials. Doctors recommend them, health magazines praise them, influencers post about them, and yet you feel worse, you move slower, you stop taking the stairs, you think maybe this is just aging. But it's not aging, it's accumulation, it's imbalance, it's the wrong input at the wrong time. But here's the good news, and it's real, the body is always listening, even in your 60s, 70s or 80s. The moment you stop feeding your system what blunts it, and start giving it what ignites it, strength returns. Not hypothetically. Biologically, your nervous system re-regulates. Your mitochondria start producing again. Your legs, which felt hollow and slow, begin to respond with power. This is the beauty of the human system. It's not built to deteriorate passively. It's built to adapt, to correct, to respond. And it begins with awareness, with challenging the assumptions, with asking not just what am I taking, but why am I taking it, and what is it really doing to my physiology. You were not meant to grow frail. You were not built to stumble, to shuffle, to shrink. You were built to move, to climb, to feel strength surge from your legs like a force beneath you, because that's what vitality feels like, grounded, stable, strong. So yes, some vitamins may be harming you, but that doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're ready. Ready to take back control. Ready to move with power again. Ready to stop guessing and start choosing with intention. Because strength isn't in a pill, it's in the right signals. And once you send those signals clearly, your legs and your life can transform. Your body is a battery, not in some metaphorical sense, but in a deeply biological one. Every muscle contraction, every step you take, every lift of the leg, it all comes down to energy, not vague energy, not feeling energized, but actual ATP, adenosine triphosphate. produced inside the mitochondria of your cells. These microscopic powerhouses are responsible for translating food, oxygen, and nutrients into real, mechanical movement. And when it comes to your legs, the largest muscles in your body, that energy demand is monumental. Now imagine that process being disrupted, slowed, hacked from the inside by something you thought was helping you. That's the paradox of certain healthy vitamins. In small, controlled amounts, they can support metabolic and nervous system health. But when overloaded, especially in supplement form and without guidance, they can act more like toxins than nutrients. And the first systems to suffer, not your brain, not your heart, but your muscles, especially your legs. Legs are complex machines. They rely on an intricate symphony of nerve signals, muscular contractions, and biochemical reactions to function. Your quadriceps, hamstrings, glutes, and calves don't just move because you want them to. They move because thousands of mitochondria inside those muscles are producing ATP at high speed. But if even one step in that energy chain breaks down, the result is what most people over 50 describe as heaviness, slowness, that dreadful feeling that your legs are moving through wet cement. One of the hidden disruptors of this energy cycle is excess B vitamins, particularly B6 and B3, often found in high-dose energy blends, daily multivitamins, and performance drinks. The logic is seductive. These vitamins are involved in energy metabolism, so taking more should mean more energy, right? Wrong. What the science actually shows is that, while B6 and B3 are crucial cofactors in mitochondrial function, too much leads to a completely different outcome. High levels of B6, for example, can become neurotoxic. That means it doesn't just fail to help your nerves, it starts interfering with them. People who megadose B6 often report neuropathy, numbness, tingling, and yes, muscle weakness, particularly in the legs and feet. With B3 niacin, the story is different but equally damaging. In high doses, niacin can trigger what's known as a niacin flush, but more dangerously, it can deplete methyl groups, which are essential for everything from DNA repair to mitochondrial health. When that methylation process gets compromised, ATP production drops. And when ATP drops, your muscles can't contract efficiently. It's not a dramatic collapse. It's subtle. It's gradual. You don't notice it at first. You just feel more tired climbing the stairs. You start skipping your morning walk. Your balance starts slipping. And you chalk it up to age. But it's not age. It's biology reacting to imbalance. This is especially critical in older adults, where mitochondrial efficiency is already declining due to age. When you introduce an excess of certain vitamins, particularly those that tamper with the nervous system or cellular metabolism, you don't get more power. You get biological confusion. The mitochondria slow down, the nervous system goes into compensation mode, and your legs begin to fail you. And here's the painful irony: the very reason many people take these vitamins is because they feel weak. They want more energy. They want to feel young again. But without a systems-level understanding of how nutrients interact, they're making themselves weaker, not stronger. Your legs are the foundation of your independence. They carry your weight, support your spine, balance your posture, and allow you to move freely through the world. When that foundation is compromised, when it becomes harder to rise from a chair, harder to walk briskly, harder to catch yourself when you trip, it isn't just a physical issue. It becomes psychological, emotional. You start fearing movement. You avoid exercise. You shrink your world down to what feels safe. That's the beginning of a cascade that no one wants. A slow retreat from vitality, strength, and freedom. But this doesn't have to be your reality. The good news, and it is good news, is that the mitochondria are resilient. The neuromuscular system can bounce back. If you remove the interference, stop overloading the body with unnecessary or excessive nutrients, and start supporting the body with the right inputs. Balance returns, the lights come back on, so to speak, strength returns. Sometimes it's not about what you need to add to your life, but what you need to remove. The body doesn't always require more stimulation. Sometimes it simply needs space to do what it's already wired to do: repair, regulate, and regenerate. So if you're feeling weak in your legs, not just tired, but weak, if you've been supplementing religiously and still getting worse, step back and ask, what am I giving my body that it didn't ask for? What am I assuming is helping that might be hurting? That's not fear talking, that's wisdom. Your legs don't want magic. They don't need more mystery pills. They need a clean signal. They need mitochondrial support. They need clarity, not confusion. And when you give your body that, it will reward you in the most unexpected way, with power, with stability, with movement. Not someday, not in theory, but now. Starting with what you stop doing today. The human body isn't built on isolated systems. It's an intricate network of feedback loops, balances, and chemical communication. When one system goes off kilter, the others don't stay unaffected, especially when it comes to your legs, your mobility, and your strength. And perhaps the most underappreciated, yet critical, area where this balance matters is in the interplay between vitamins and minerals responsible for bone density, and muscular contraction, and nerve function. Everyone knows about calcium. It's been marketed for decades as the champion of bone strength. Drink your milk, take your calcium pills, fortify your breakfast cereal. But calcium doesn't operate in isolation. It never has. It needs magnesium, vitamin D, vitamin K2, and a host of trace minerals to function properly. Without these, supplementing calcium becomes not just ineffective, it becomes potentially harmful. And here's the issue, many people are loading up on high-dose vitamin D and calcium without understanding that this combination, when out of balance, can destabilize your bones and interfere with your legs' coordination. Let's unpack that. Vitamin D is essential for calcium absorption. Without it, most of the calcium you ingest would pass right through your system. But the reverse is also true. When you consume too much vitamin D, especially in supplement form, your body absorbs more calcium than it needs. And unless that calcium is directed into your bones by vitamin K2, it can begin to deposit in places it shouldn't: soft tissues, arteries, and joints. This condition is called calcification, and it's one of the most dangerous silent disruptors in the body. You might think you're supporting your bones, but what you're really doing is clogging the system. Calcium builds up in your joints, leading to stiffness and pain. It narrows your blood vessels, restricting circulation to your legs, and even worse, it starts affecting the neuromuscular junctions, where your nerves connect to your muscles and tell them when and how to fire. When that signal is weak, your legs don't move the way they should. You trip more, you misstep, you feel unstable on uneven surfaces. That's not just age. That's a biochemical traffic jam. Calcium is flooding the body, but it's going everywhere except where it's needed. And the situation worsens if magnesium is deficient, which, by the way, it is in up to 70% of adults. Magnesium is critical for relaxing muscles, balancing electrical activity in cells, and making sure calcium stays in the right places. When vitamin D and calcium are high, but magnesium is low, you get cramping, tightness, and paradoxically, weaker bones. Here's why: bones aren't just made of calcium. They are dynamic tissues that remodel constantly. Magnesium stimulates osteoblasts, the cells responsible for building new bone. Without magnesium, you can have all the calcium in the world, but your body won't know what to do with it. And instead of stronger bones, you get more fragile ones. So when your legs start feeling unstable, when your balance gets shaky, or your muscles spasm, or your knees begin to ache, it's not just a musculoskeletal issue. It's often a nutritional imbalance. Too much of one vitamin, not enough of its counterbalance, and your system begins to malfunction. This happens slowly. You don't notice it overnight. You start with a daily vitamin D capsule. Then your doctor tells you to take calcium. Then you hear that K2 might help, but you skip magnesium. Or you're not eating enough leafy greens. Or your gut microbiome isn't absorbing the nutrients efficiently, and now your body is misfiring, not because you're lacking effort, but because you're lacking alignment. And alignment is everything. Strength isn't just about big muscles. It's about the precision of how your muscles contract, how your nerves signal, how your bones withstand pressure. It's about coordination. And when your internal biochemistry is off, your external movements reflect that disarray. But here's what's so empowering: your body is adaptable. Bone density can be rebuilt, nerve function can be restored, coordination can be reclaimed, but not by blindly increasing vitamin intake, by creating harmony, understanding the dance between D, calcium, magnesium, and K2, and giving your body what it actually needs. The best part: this balance doesn't require exotic treatments. It doesn't require expensive interventions. It requires precision and restraint, two things rarely talked about in a world of more is better. So if you've been told that your balance issues, your leg cramps, or your muscle twitching are just a part of aging, consider this: what if they're a part of imbalance? What if the answer isn't a new medication, but the correction of an internal misalignment? You can start today. Reduce excess vitamin D intake if you're not testing your levels. Increase dietary magnesium from sources like pumpkin seeds, spinach, or dark chocolate. Ensure you're getting vitamin K2 from fermented foods or targeted supplementation. And most importantly, stop megadosing calcium without understanding the cost. Because your legs are more than limbs. They're your foundation. They carry your body, your dreams, your independence. And when they move with confidence, you move through life with confidence. Balance isn't just a goal, it's a strategy. And once your biochemistry finds its rhythm again, your legs and your life will feel it instantly. At the very core of your muscle strength, deeper than the fibers, deeper than the bones, lies a microscopic engine, the mitochondria. These are not just energy factories, they are the command centers of muscular vitality, endurance, and coordination. They determine whether your legs feel springy and light, or whether they drag like weights chained to your hips. Now here's what almost no one is talking about: certain healthy vitamins, when consumed in excess or in isolation, disrupt mitochondrial function. And when that happens, you don't just lose power, you lose control. Let's be clear, this isn't just about getting older. It's about getting out of balance at the cellular level, because the moment your mitochondria can't keep up, your legs will fail you. Not from injury, not from laziness, but from energy starvation, the most dangerous culprit: over-supplementation with vitamin B6. Yes, B6. The one sold in countless brain-boosting, energy-enhancing, immune-supporting supplements. Most people think more B vitamins mean more energy, but B6, when taken in high doses over time, even just 100-200 mg daily, can become toxic to your nerves. This isn't speculation. It's documented in clinical studies. Excessive B6 causes peripheral neuropathy, which begins with a subtle tingling in the feet, progresses to numbness in the legs, and eventually leads to weakness so profound that even standing becomes difficult. And the irony: people take B6 to prevent fatigue, only to find themselves stumbling, dragging their legs, and wondering why their body is betraying them. Here's what's really happening. Your mitochondria are like little furnaces, converting food into ATP, the usable form of energy your muscles require to fire and contract. But this process isn't just about fuel. It's about timing and regulation. It needs a delicate orchestration of nutrients, enzymes, and signals. Too much B6 throws that system off. It disrupts the nerves that feed your legs instructions from the brain. And without those signals, your muscles begin to fire inefficiently. That inefficiency costs energy. The mitochondria work harder, produce less, and slowly, your legs stop responding with force. They slow down, they feel dull, unresponsive, detached. It's like sending a command from your brain that gets lost somewhere on the way to your muscles. And B6 isn't the only offender. Excessive niacin, vitamin B3, often used for cholesterol control or detox protocols, can also impair mitochondrial respiration. It alters how your cells process oxygen, and paradoxically, can create a state of cellular suffocation. You're breathing just fine, but your cells are starving for clean energy. In high doses, niacin can cause lactic acid buildup and muscle fatigue, especially in the lower limbs, where blood flow already struggles with gravity and distance from the heart. It can mimic the symptoms of intense overtraining, even in people who haven't exercised in years. This is why some people who begin high-dose niacin regimens for heart health report muscle burning, twitching, or a strange heaviness in the legs. They blame their workouts. They blame their shoes. But the real issue is bioenergetic disruption. Your muscles are gasping for efficient fuel, but instead, they're drowning in metabolic waste. And then there's vitamin E. This one's more subtle, but equally dangerous in high synthetic doses. Many people take vitamin E thinking it's a universal antioxidant. But when it's not balanced with vitamin C or other cofactors, synthetic vitamin E, especially the alpha tocopherol form, can become pro-oxidative. That means instead of neutralizing free radicals, it creates them inside the mitochondria. This creates a storm. Instead of efficient energy production, you get oxidative stress. The delicate membranes of your muscle cells begin to fray. Your recovery slows. Your legs feel older, heavier, and more vulnerable to damage. And that's the paradox. You're taking healthy vitamins, but you're breaking the very system that powers your legs. Let's talk about why this matters, not just biologically, but existentially. When your legs lose power, you lose freedom, you lose confidence, you hesitate on stairs, you second-guess your stride, you avoid the hike, you sit when you should stand, and slowly you begin to shrink your world. Not because your spirit is small, but because your energy system is malfunctioning. But this isn't irreversible. In fact, it's incredibly fixable. Once you understand that more is not better, precision is power. You don't need 200% of your B vitamins. You need the right ratio, the right form, at the right time. You need food-based nutrients, not megadoses. You need cofactors, not isolates. You need balance, not biochemical chaos. What restores mitochondrial health? Rest, targeted movement, polyphenols, magnesium, clean sleep, cold exposure, sunlight, smart supplementation, not marketing hype, and more than anything, you need to give your body permission to reboot. Because strength isn't just how much weight you can lift, it's how much energy your system can sustain, recover, and regenerate. Mitochondria don't just fuel muscles, they signal vitality. When they work, you work. So if your legs feel heavy, if your gait feels off, if your power feels like it's slipping, don't just push harder. Don't blindly swallow more pills. Stop. Recess. Ask the deeper question: am I nourishing my power plant, or am I slowly unplugging it? Because the vitamins you think are helping might be the very things draining your strength. And once you reset that system, you'll feel it. Not next month, not next year. Within days, your legs will feel lighter, your reflexes sharper, your gait stronger, your world wider. The power is still in you. You just have to stop sabotaging it in the name of health.